been a couple slow days, but there was that one big shocker trade involving Tyreek Hill out of the
Dude,
AFC West to Miami. I don't know, Fran. What were your initial thoughts about that?
my initial thoughts are like, why the hell are you guys doing this crap after why are you guys doing this crap after we recorded Compas? Like, why can't you guys work with us and kind of let us know?
Was it Wednesday when they dropped it? When was that? I forget. Wednesday,
I think it was
Thursday?
when
It
maybe
was Wednesday, huh? We
no,
had
it
just
was
dropped
Wednesday.
it.
My brother was flying back to San Diego, and you even texted Dan and Diego's gonna be so happy when he gets to San Diego. And what did he do? He texts back, "Are you guys serious? Is this true?" Yeah, it is. Oh hell yeah! And he got excited about it. But um, I don't know what to think, Gilbert. I mean, obviously, like the money wasn't there. They weren't going to pay him $30 million. I'm just surprised that they would get rid of a weapon so important to their offense. Just because, like you said, and that's what when we were texting and everything. You even said this works, like it's working. Why are you going to get rid of it? But I think Kansas City is looking at our defense is really bad. We need to look at other places. But I mean, I couldn't have gotten rid of Tyreek Hill. He is too important to what they do, and especially you have Juju, who's a C receiver. You have now they have Marquez Valdez Scantling, who's he's good, but there's no number one. So now Travis Kelce becomes your number one. Well, what's going to happen when a safety like Derwin can body him up, or other guys can take him out of a game? Like, what's going to happen there for that offense? So there's a lot of question marks, but in my head, Kansas City is not done yet. There is something coming. I've been telling you that there is something coming with Kansas City.
Well, that's part of the trade. Now that they got rid of Tyreek Hill, they have all this flexibility with draft capital, cap space, all that. So, yeah, at first I was shocked. Like, what did they do with this big three? Like, remember we were ranking last week the AFC West.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, if they got the big three there, I don't care who else on the roster. They're gonna still be at the top of the division because that does work. But I started thinking more about it. I was like, well, when you have Patrick Mahomes and you still have the coaching staff with all success, like when you have those two big pieces, everybody else you could kind of switch and change. Like I feel like, okay, now there's room to, like you mentioned, a big trade, a big signing, and then all that draft capital. They got pretty much an entire draft class to go over there. I know they were separated into classes, 3 picks this year, 2 next year. Um, okay, I'll just say this: for Tyreek Hill, it's hard to replace the production and what he brings. He's a very unique player, but you could find number one wideouts, and maybe you could get a 2 or 3 that are very talented. And when you got Patrick Mahomes, I think they're going to find a way to make it work. But in the short term, this year coming up, you can't ask a rookie to beat Tyreek Hill right away. And I was like, okay, it might hurt this year. Are they kind of like sacrificing 1 year, or they're thinking long term? Okay, they're going to be good for years to come. Like you even saw with the Patriots and Tom Brady, there were some down years. They were still playoff team, but they weren't really contenders. You kind of go through that wave. Like you see teams that have that window of being really good for 4 years and they disappear. Seahawks come to mind. The Broncos, the 49ers with Jim Harbaugh, they had that quick window. The Patriots were the one that kind of did it for longevity. And maybe that's what they're thinking with Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. I was taken aback, but then I'm like, it's not the worst thing in the world. But it was very surprising to get up on a guy like Tyreek Hill. Still has all that speed, and we saw that crazy playoff game against the Bills. Man, Tyreek Hill took over that game. So some people are calling it a lose-lose kind of trade because Tyreek goes to Tua, and it might not be the same. And the Chiefs lose Tyreek and all that kind of crazy, scary element of fear on opposing defenses. I don't know if I see it as a lose-lose, but I might see it. It could be a win later on for both teams. I think both teams might get better off of it. I don't know.
I'm I'm wondering what I'm wondering why now though. Like, is there something? I don't know. I guess I'm questioning a little bit of what something must have. I don't know. Something had to have
It might be
happened.
the contract, man. Do you want to? I think Tyreek Hill saw Devontae Adams getting paid, and he was like, "I need my money too," and that kind of started a whole
Yeah,
little quick rift there.
yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, before we move on to the next thing though, I gotta ask you, what do you think this was about? You're gonna and it's been all over the place and everything, but I gotta ask you. There's a certain gentleman that commented on this post, And I gotta ask you what you think this is all about. Oh, for the people that can't see, it's Keenan Allen post on the NFL Network. I mean, obviously everybody's probably seen it, but NFL.com put on their Instagram page breaking Dolphins trading for Tyreek Hill. Keenan Allen commented, "This one's gonna expose some people. Glad he out of the division though. Hashtag respect." What do you think?
Uh, I don't know if you can see it. I can't see it on my screen because my Wi-Fi is syncing right now. But I think I know what you're talking about, Fernando. Um, yeah, I think Keenan is one of those believers that Tyreek Hill made the Chiefs, and people are gonna get exposed. I disagree with Keenan Allen there, and I think we saw how life was with Alex Smith. They were a nice team, but they weren't a top team. So I think having Patrick Mahomes is a difference maker. But that was Keenan saying, "Hey, these wide receivers need to get paid." And he's a part of that, and he's saying that maybe now the Chiefs also think about the rivalry. The Chiefs are not what they used to be, and he's seen the blood in the water. He's trying to go for the kill, so I can see what he's talking about there.
And you know, it's funny. I agree with you on this one. I do think that Keenan was methodical on that. I think Keenan knew exactly what he was going to post. The only thing is, I wouldn't shake the cage yet until you
Yeah,
see kind of what you have. Because I mean, yeah, right now the Chargers on paper have great, great stuff. But man, it's going to be interesting to see kind of how they move forward with this because the Chiefs look a little vulnerable. And I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I don't know what you think, but let's head over to now re-ranking the AFC West after the Tyreek Hill trade. So Gilbert, you went Kansas City, Raiders, Chargers, and Broncos.
yeah,
How have you changed your mind?
man. It's tough because I think I did see Dan Orlovsky, ESPN,
Oh
his
my
ranking.
God, his
Yeah,
was terrible.
yeah, I saw it. I was like, okay, people are gonna be all different. I think that's what it is. This division is so low, it's gonna be different. But when I saw
But I think he has
Broncos
something.
won,
He has something against like he has something against Justin Herbert for some reason. Like I've heard some of his comments about Justin, and I'm kind of like he thinks that Justin's just a below. Like he thinks he's an average quarterback. I think with a good arm, and I'm kind of like,
yeah, yeah,
so I
I've
don't
heard
know.
those
I've heard some.
comments. So, but
Yeah, I've heard some of his comments, and I think he's a little. I don't know, but okay, continue. Sorry.
man, but yeah, and keep in mind we might change our rankings again, and this sounds pretty bad, and I don't know if I want to do it. But like you mentioned, I need to see more from what did the Chiefs, who did they draft, who did they add, like MVS, Marquez Valdez Scotland. That doesn't do anything for me. That's not gonna move you up. Um, so maybe just kind of spare the moment, and I feel like I don't know if I could do it just yet, but I'm gonna do it, and people are gonna say, "What's up with these rankings?" Keep in mind, it's March, still in March. I might change again. I'm just stalling
You're
Fernando,
gonna
but
piss people
yeah,
off.
I'm gonna do it. No, but yeah, whatever. Okay, so I had Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, Broncos last. And maybe people are really liking the Broncos. Maybe I'm missing something here. I don't know. But I'm
I
gonna
can
keep
tell you why.
the Broncos last still. I still need to see more in the draft process. I'm moving the Chiefs to third. I'm keeping the Raiders second. I moved up the Chargers to first. I think there's a moment. The Chiefs are out of it right now. At the moment, in the short term, if they draft some stuff in the upcoming draft with a wide receiver, I'm changing my mind quickly because I love what Patrick Mahomes does. But I think there's a moment now with Tyreek gone. I told you I really like that big three there. So in the moment, Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, you don't have to worry about Tyreek Hill. That defense might do some things. I know a week ago I was bashing the defense. Like, you don't need defense anymore. But Justin Herbert's going to get better, I feel like, in year three. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Gerald Everett. Was he on last week when we were on the show? I forget. Another tight end. But
Yeah,
I
he
don't feel
was.
good about Okay, I don't feel good about it that well, but I think this is their opportunity, and I think and people are really down the Raiders. I think the Raiders should be somewhere in that top two. That Devontae Adams trade for me was big, but yeah, I'm shaking it up. I moved up the Chiefs. I moved down the Chiefs, and I went up with the Chargers.
All right. Well, I'm not as high on the Raiders as you are, just because Derek Carr's still the quarterback. That defense to me still isn't all that good. So, well, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Raiders fourth. I'm gonna go Raiders fourth, just because I think the Broncos defense is a lot better than theirs. But the thing is, the Broncos still have holes on their defensive line. They still have holes on the offensive line. The receivers, I'm still not completely sold on. So I'm going to go Broncos third. I'm going to go Chiefs second, just because it's still Patrick Mahomes. It's still Travis Kelce. Andy Reid is still the coach. I'm interested to see kind of what they're going to do, how they're going to fix this. I'm telling you, there's a move coming, and I don't know what it's going to be. I've seen the word. I don't know if you saw, but I saw the Jets have been asking about Deebo Samuel, about DK Metcalf, and there was another receiver that they threw out there that I'm like, does that mean that the Chiefs could possibly be into one of these? But who knows? I mean, but the thing is now DK's contract is probably up next. I think his contract's up next year. He's going to want a big deal, or the Chiefs going to pay him his big deal, especially when they have their left tackle, Orlando Brown, on a franchise tag again. So I don't know, but I have the Chiefs second, and I do have I did move the Chargers up to first. I think the Chargers fix some things. Now, if for that 17th pick, if a guy like Jordan Davis can fall into their lap, then you really have gone completely you've completely shifted your defense into probably one of the better defenses in the NFL, because you got pass rush, you got some cornerback help, and you got some defensive line help, and him, Sebastian Joseph Day, and Austin Johnson, if he's starting, or if it's Christian Covington, who knows? Or, well, I don't know if the other one should start, but if it's those three guys, then that defensive line is going to be a lot better, especially with Joey and Khalil. And that's another thing that I've told you. Khalil, I don't think gets enough respect for helping against the run. So I think that's going to be a big part of them also, is at the edge, Joey and him can help. But I do have the Chargers still number one.
Oh man, both of us picking the Chargers on kind of a Charger show, so that doesn't look good for us. Whatever, but we could change our minds soon. I really
Oh,
think
but I mean, yeah. I mean, I still
the
have
draft's
questions
gonna
about
shake
it.
it
Like
up.
that whole right side is like, what are you going to do with that right side of the offensive line? And that's why you and I have kind of talked about it. And I feel like they're kind of banking on the draft of drafting somebody. But that's my question. Like, if it's Jordan Davis against the right tackle, like, I wonder
Yeah.
what
But
they're gonna
if you
go
think
with.
about it, like the Raiders don't have a perfect line. The Broncos definitely don't have a perfect line, and even the Chiefs have some holes in there. They might have the best one currently. I don't know. It could be debatable between them and the
Like,
Chargers.
everybody keeps on talking about how they're hyping up the AFC West, but I still see a lot of holes on each team. Like, it's
Yeah, and
just that they have so much star power at certain positions.
that's why it's so hard to rank these AFC West teams. People are losing their minds in March, but whatever. I'm gonna probably change my mind again. But man, if the Chargers get a right tackle, they're looking pretty well. Like you mentioned, the run stopper, or they get that speedy wide receiver you keep talking about, Fernando. And same thing with the Raiders. If they have a couple more playmakers on defense, then they're looking kind of good. If the Chiefs finally get a wide receiver that's will strike fear in teams from the draft, Chris Olave comes to mind, Jameson Williams, that they could really get back into it. So I still think this division is pretty loaded. But Fernando, I think it's time to go into our really intense debate.
And it's funny. The Chargers can't go into this year with their same receiving core from last year. They need to change that up. And I know exactly what I'm talking about, but I won't say it out loud. But they do need to make some changes, because you can't just depend on two players. You have to, and Joshua Palmer will probably grow a lot more into this season, but you need another receiver. But I mean, that's just and they'll probably draft one, but that's my 2 cents.